They do not deserve that. They do not deserve to have someone like you here. You do not deserve to be here. I was like, girl, tell him he ain't ready to love so he can leave, but she couldn't do that, right? Hey everybody, welcome back to the Brandy Yvonne channel. Of course, I'm your girl Brandy Yvonne. Here on my channel, we do fun reviews, recaps, and discussions of all of our favorite shows. It's Friday night, so we are talking Owns Ready to Love. This is season 7, episode 7, Queens Do Not Chase. Before we get into it, y'all, please don't forget to hit that like button. Thank you for hitting that subscribe button. Once you do that, happy Black History Month. Support a Black YouTube channel this month in honor of Black History Month. Also, comment down below. I love it when y'all comment. Let me know what you think of the episode. Let me know if you think their connections are really connecting this season or not. Also, share the video. Please share the video, y'all. All right, let's get into it, y'all. I'm very, very tired. I would save this for tomorrow. However, I have to go to my church tomorrow and work at this health fair, get this health fair going. So I didn't want to save it before tomorrow because I didn't know how tired I would be tomorrow after that event. So, and plus we got Love and Marriage DC tomorrow. So I'm going to give it to y'all tonight. I'm picking up all my energy and giving it to y'all. Okay, so here we go. So the episode picks up where we left off last week with everybody arguing, fussing, and fighting down to this dinner that the producers then contrived all together to make some drama for the show, right? So Jefri and Advocate Sue and Blake are still fussing and fighting. Blake is like, stop mentioning me, keep my name out your mouth. SuSu is like, keep my name out your mouth as well, don't mention me no more. Jeffrey's like, Advocate Sue, SuSu. She was like, girl, please stop. You was looking for a moment. In her confessionals, Jefri said, Sue Ann is really giving client-lawyer relationship. It's really sad. It's really sick. Like, she really needs to stop. Like, this is not right. Like, no one else likes Blake. Like, girl, get it together. And we all feel that way, right? Now, I'm not saying Jefri is clean in this situation. Y'all already know my opinion. Like I said, I think Jefri and Blake both played a part. Sue Ann is Captain Save Blake, but that's fine. Anyway. So Jefri was like, it's really sad. She's just looking for her moment with me. Like, girl, please, girl, stop. And Sue was just laughing at her. And so Nephew Tommy was like, okay, ladies, like, he had heard enough. So then, he was saying Nephew Tommy was saying all this dramatic stuff, talking about the waters getting rocky and God, y'all go ahead and enjoy y'all dinner. This might be the last supper for somebody because they're going to eliminate one man and one woman today. And I'm just like, Nephew Tommy, you being too dramatic about it all. So anyway, Nephew Tommy leaves, everybody eat their dinner. I was trying to see what kind of food they was eating because I couldn't tell. Anyway, maybe it was like Caribbean food, or Mexican food, or Cuban food or something. I don't know. If y'all know what kind of food it was, drop it down in the comments, please. So anyway, we see Mark Anthony and Tony sitting down at the table as well as Janique with them. And Tony is saying, of course, we're getting down to the wire. We're halfway through the process. Tensions are running high. People are really trying to figure out who the connections are. Janique was like, yeah, it's to be expected. That Mark Anthony agreed. She said, she just sitting back, watching it all, staying out of it, okay? Then we see, we saw Andre mixing and mingling. Everybody happy. Oh, Andre, you back. Andre, you back. He twirling the girls around, all that good stuff. We see Anthony sitting down with Morgan and Marcia, and they basically jamming him up. And Anthony's sitting real laid back in his chair. And they like, you need to put in the effort. You need to show more effort. You need to do more. And they were like saying, you got to do more than what you give, and you're not really giving what you need to be given. And he was like, what is this, like a Dr. Phil session or something? They were like, no, you need to put in the effort. Like, you going for the low-hanging fruit instead of going for the fruit that's higher. Is that because he likes Sue Ann? I feel like that was a dig towards Sue Ann, but I didn't know. Y'all let me know. Also, Anthony reminds me somewhat of Demetrius from the Potomac season, right? Very mysterious, kind of laid back in the back. He ain't really, reaching out to the girls and talking to them all in their face like some of the other guys. Kind of like a dark horse or something. I don't think he has as the same attitude as Demetrius, though. I will give him that. He seems like a much nicer person and more personable than Demetrius, but it's something about him and the way the girls are saying, like, he too laid back about it, is reminding me of Demetrius and the things they said about Demetrius. Anthony's just not checking for the women on the show. I think he does like Cynthia, though. I don't know. There's something about Anthony I cannot put my finger on. I'm not sure if he would be interested if any of the women on the show, period. Like, I don't know if they're just not his type. Like, I can't put my finger on what it is about Anthony. I just can't figure it out. Y'all let me know in the comments what y'all think it is. I have a couple ideas, but I don't know. Anyway, so let's see. We also see Jonique and Lyndon talking, and Jonique is like, oh, I wonder, is there anybody who likes somebody, but, they're not really liking them back, that they have other connections that they like better, and it seemed like all the connections are really, for people that like each other, like, they show reciprocation, they reciprocated, I don't know if reciprocation is a word, y'all, sorry. Anyway, so Lyndon was like, yeah, and he's looking all embarrassed in the face, and he was like, yeah, I had that situation actually happen to me. I liked Mercedes and Morgan, and Mercedes friend zoned me, and so then they were laughing, making fun of him, how he got friend zoned, and I don't see it for you on the show, Lyndon. I'm sorry, boo. I don't see it for you. Anyway, then we also did see Morgan jamming up Tony, talking about, you over here being, I'm going to say you the same critique I gave Anthony. You over here just working the room, not really doing much. And he was like, oh, Anthony ain't got nothing to do with me, sweetheart. And she was like, no, you over here doing the most, smiling people's face, licking your lips, doing all this, doing all that. And he was like, oh, yeah, I be licking my lips. She's like, oh, you be licking them lips and my lips. And she basically, giving Tony a hard time. And Morgan basically feels like she likes Tony, but she's scared to like Tony. Yeah, girl, be scared, run away, go left, let him go right, be gone. Tony ain't it, girl. He ain't it. And so Tony was like, man, I don't understand. Like, what is it? And so, yeah, so they having a little fuss and fight that they always do, y'all. Anyway, who else had to sit down and chit chat? I'm not sure if Blake and SuSu sat down and talked or not. Anyway, Andre sat down to talk to Jefri, and Jefri was like, oh yeah, it's a lie. I'm happy you're back. I'm sorry you had to see me in that situation. Like, I hope you didn't make you see me differently. Oh my God. I was like, oh, Jefri, you were my last nerves with all them voices, girl. You are not Janet Jackson. Stop it. So he was like, oh no, it's okay, I understand. And so she's just happy he's back. And I'm like, girl, you was over there checking for Blue and Mark Anthony. You wasn't checking for Andre no more. Anywho, then let's see, we also saw Andre. Speaking of Andre and his bun and his little S-curl, he went up there jamming up Mercedes, talking about he want to talk to Mercedes. He was like, everybody that connected with me, they called me, they text me to check on me, but you didn't call me. Like, I don't understand why you didn't call me. You were one of my top connections. Now, first of all, Andre, I never remembered you and Mercedes being a connection. I don't remember Mercedes being Andre's top. Now, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. I'll take a correction. However, I don't recall Mercedes ever being in Andre's top. I remember maybe he liked her. I don't know, but I don't remember the way he going on about it. I don't remember it like that. So she was like, to be honest with you, it was like out of sight, out of mind. Love the answer, Mercedes. Okay, you was gone. Talking about you wasn't coming back for C19. So what were the girls supposed to do? Like, get over yourself, Andre, please. And so she's like, it was out of sight, out of mind. Honestly, that's how it was. You was gone. And then he's like, okay, that's my answer. That's all I needed to know. That's how it is. I see how it is. He's like, he did a dramatic accent. He's like, that's okay. I'm gonna go away from here now. He got up and left. I said, goodbye, Andre. Be gone. Mercedes don't owe you nothing. Over there playing around with the C19. Like I said before, Illumi got it. Looney got it, came right on back. You could have did the same thing instead of BSing us with production. Quit playing in our faces, please. So anyway, after the couples got to mixing and mingling, hopefully I didn't miss any other hot conversations. If I did, let me know in the comments. Nephew Tommy calls everybody to deliberate. Now, the little nice thing I was hoping they did, and I'm glad they did, is with production, is that they put the male deliberation and the female deliberation. They played them both simultaneously, back to back. So, which was perfect because that whole conversation Jonique and Lyndon had together saying, the couples are reciprocating. So I needed to hear Blake say he liked SuSu at the same time SuSu said he liked Blake, and all that, all that stuff going on. So I like the way they did do that. So, like I said, we have the men. Nephew Tommy, they showing us that Nephew Tommy's talking to the men. At the same time, they're showing us with him talking to the women. So let's start off with what the woman said first, okay? Y'all know I don't do them ping pong things. So Cynthia says she glad Andre back. Nobody ever filled that spot when he left. So she, Andre's her number one. I was thinking to myself, now what about Anthony? Okay, so Anthony's not putting in effort like the girl said. Let's see. Jefri said, Mark Anthony is her top, Blue. But also Andre's back, so Andre's still in her top as well. Morgan said it's Tony for her. Tony does it for her. That man, like he likes the way he loves her, likes her, and she likes him, and he goes after her, and blah, blah, blah. She also likes Lyndon, but she's worried because he's younger than her. And she still feels like she gonna work with it though. No, you can't, girl. But anywho, Marcia said Tony. Tony makes her feel beautiful. Let's see, who else we had? Jonique says she has a solid connection with Lyndon and Tony. She really feels that good friendship from Tony. I was like, Jonique, we're not here looking for friendship, boo. We're not here for that, girl. Sue Ann, who was on the other side of the sofa, said Blake, and she said they shared a kiss, and that just really brought them closer together, and they have a good thing going, and they showed Morgan's face when Sue Ann said all that, and I hollered, okay? And I'm going to put the picture up for y'all so y'all can see what I'm referring to, because I hollered, because Morgan was over it. Because Morgan is over it when it comes to Blake, and we're going to get into that more. She going to show y'all and tell Blake just how over it she is, okay? And I was here for it. One of the best Ready to Love scenes ever for me. Anywho, we're going to get to that, though, at the end, right? So, anyway, Jefri not seeing what... Nobody's seeing it. Nobody's seeing it. Jefri not seeing what SuSu see. Nobody's seeing it. I don't see it either, girl. Let's see. Is that all the ladies? I think... Oh, Mercedes said Mark Anthony and Anthony. I think she's more leaning towards Mark Anthony, though. Yeah, I think that was all the ladies. Anyway, the gentlemen... Let's say Blake says Sue Ann works for her. And it was funny the way they played the clip because they were doing it simultaneously, like I said, y'all. So Blake, he's like, yeah, Sue Ann, she works for me. I was like, yeah, she literally works for you as your prosecuting attorney. Or no, your defense attorney. I'm sorry. And so right after they played that, they played Sue Ann saying Blake and her shared this kiss and they good to go. I was like, oh my Lord, that was funny. Production set that up perfectly. Now that's a good setup, production. Let's see. Then we said Mark Anthony, he's like Jefri. No, let me back it up to Andre. Andre said Jefri, Jefri, she's just so wonderful. She's a saint. She really is a saint. And I'm like, Andre, you've been gone for 3 weeks and Jefri been on here cutting up with Sue Ann and Blake. Was you not in this argument over here talking about Jefri is a saint? I need you to stop. I really need you to stop. Andre be giving what Laverne was giving in Potomac, talking all that, oh, she's Oprah, she's Michelle Obama, she's all this. Okay, then make her your number one and quit playing with the other girls. Like, just stop it, please. I hate when the men do that. Mark Anthony talking about Jefri, she just exudes the perfect amount of femininity and womanhood and all this stuff. It's the way Jefri carries herself. She does do that. That like, oh, Janet Jackson voice and, oh, I hope I didn't offend you and all that. But y'all see this girl got a dark side. Y'all better quit playing with Jefri. Y'all better quit playing with her. Let's see. Then Anthony, he said she likes. I mean, Anthony, he said that he likes. I'm sorry. I believe he said Mercedes and Cynthia. He likes that Cynthia knows what she wants and she's very intentional. Let's see. We all said Blue. Blue said Jeffrey. You know, he likes that. And Marcia was also in his top. Jeffrey checks on him because he works late nights, running his bar, whatever he works at, and she'll check on him and all that, and she likes that. Okay, Jeffrey got these men under her spell, y'all. So anyway, then let's see, we got to Tony. Tony was like, it's been Marcia and Morgan, and Marcia, she right up under Morgan, like right here, right? But then, I went on this date with Morgan, and the sun was setting, the birds was chirping, and then we had a kiss, and then it led to kiss 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and it was just, now it's just too hard to choose, and, it's just Morgan for me. I just really like Morgan, and they was like, okay, you doing the most. The man was over there laughing. If you tell me, he's like, okay, you doing poetry? Like, what you doing? And so then Lyndon was saying, like, for him, it's definitely Morgan. They didn't have 1,000 kisses and the sunset, but he said that she brings him peace. Excuse me. Tony was like, oh, I feel sorry for the brother when it comes to Lyndon. He has no chance, Morgan at all. That's all Tony can talk about. I'm like, do you genuinely like Morgan, or are you just gonna beat Lyndon? Which one is it, Tony? Let's see. Then I think that was all the men talking about the connection. Oh, Mark Anthony likes Jeffrey and Mercedes. If I didn't mention that, y'all. I think we covered everybody, hopefully. Okay, now, who you not feeling, right? Marcia's not feeling Mark Anthony, and Anthony, he's not putting in the effort. Cynthia's not feeling Mark Anthony. He's a great-looking guy, but she's not feeling it. Morgan said the same thing. He's a nice-looking man, but, that's it. Morgan was she was dying to talk about Anthony. I'm gonna jump around a little bit. She was like, after she talked about all the other men, she got on Anthony. She's like, can I talk about Anthony? She was like, he called, at the first mixer, I said he was my top, but I didn't tell you yet. And she was like, he would call me on the phone, then the very next day he don't speak to me at all, and he done this like 3 times. If she don't understand that, and like she told him at the table, like, queens don't chase. She not here for all that. And I'm like, what is Anthony doing? So that's what Anthony doing, okay? But let's back it up. Jonique, she's not feeling Blake. He's just weird. She also is not connecting with Mark Anthony. Jeffrey's not connecting with Blake. Let me see. So a lot of the women said Blake. Of course, all the women said Blake except for Suann. Suann wasn't sure about Anthony. She wants him in this. She thought he was one of her tops, but then he's not making an effort. I never seen SuSu and Anthony have a connection, so I don't have a clue what SuSu talking about. Y'all let me know in the comments. She's forcing something, I guess. Anyway, let's see. I think that was all of the women who they were not feeling. Oh, and then Morgan did go on Blake. She was like, no, not feeling Blake. Not feeling Blake at all. He jammed me up about the kids thing. She ain't never let that go. Nah, she not feeling Blake. So then the men, Blake said Jefri. He don't like the way she was behaving and all the situations, they had going on with their drama. Andre said Mercedes for sure. After she didn't check on him, he cut her off. Mark Anthony said Jonique is a nice woman, but he not feeling her. Blake said the same thing, the age gap and all that. Tony was like, I don't know, Jonique, that's a tough one. I don't know. She got a good vibe, and she got this, like, Tony, it's okay if you don't like her. It's okay. I can't remember who Anthony said he not feeling. Anyway, and who else was, somebody I think said Marcia, they weren't feeling. And let's see, we also had, who was the other girl on the bottom? Suann. A lot of the men were not feeling Suann. They weren't feeling connection with Suann. Andre said he felt that Suann thought she was better than him, like thinking he's just a player. But once you get underneath the surface with him, he's more than a player, I guess, Andre. Okay, so then we had the deliberations. Everybody come back together, right? So Nephew Tommy also was telling them, okay, you know, you can use your, you know, your second chance lifeline if you want to use it. So first they call the men up, and Anthony and Mark Anthony's name gets called up, which I was surprised because I thought it would have been Blake. Even Blake was surprised. Blake was saying he glad not to be in the bottom again. He survived. He's straight. So, you know, Nephew Tommy basically told him, you know, what the women's issues was with them. Like, Anthony, you need to put in the effort. Mark Anthony, you know, they worried you could be a player or whatever. So, Anthony ended up being safe to stay another day. Mark Anthony, they used the lifeline on Mark Anthony. So they saved Mark Anthony. The women used their lifeline on Mark Anthony. They had to unanimously vote, right? Morgan let us know in her confessional that she hated that they used the vote for Mark Anthony. Not that she didn't want Mark Anthony to stay, but she was like, why the heck is Blake still here? She doesn't understand why Blake wasn't in the bottom. Get this clown out of here. She not having it. I said, come on, Morgan, tell it like it is. So then we get the, you know, women are not off the hook. Okay, so we call SuSu and Janika. And so, you know, they let everybody know what's up with that. Janique, I think, needs to open up more to just kind of surface a little. SuSu, you're not really giving much. You seem like you're already closed off to the process now. Basically, SuSu gets to stay. Janique was told she is not ready to love. The men did not save Janique. The women were kind of upset about that. Cynthia said in her comments, like, she didn't understand why, like, the men didn't use their lifeline to save Janique. Janique had other connections here. You know, they could have really saved her. She hated that happened. Cynthia, Janique's man was not on this show. It was time for Janique to go. And I think Marcia needs to go as well. I don't see Marcia fully connecting with anybody on the show. She lightweight connecting with Tony, but that's about it. Like, for me, Janique can go and Marcia can go next. No shade to Marcia, though. Janique's man is not on the show. And like she said, doesn't mean she's not, you know, they're like, oh, sorry. And she was like, no, that just means my man, I'm ready to love, but the man is not here. And she had a positive attitude about it. And I ain't mad at Janique. Go on, girl. Enjoy your life. Your man, you're going to find your man. Don't worry about it. So, Nephew Tommy wants them to focus this week on, like, following up with, you know, what was discussed at the dinner. I don't know why he said that, y'all. So, SuSu go down to Anthony's house, and I may go out of order with the date. So, I'm going to start with this brutal date between SuSu and Anthony, y'all. So, SuSu go down with her yellow outfit. It was cute. To Anthony's house. He had a mat on his floor that said, bitch, don't wear your shoes in my house. I said, come on, Anthony. She's like, oh, he might have a little thug in him after all. And so, she didn't take her shoes off when she came in the house. He let her slide. So he was making a salad. He wanted her to help with the salad. She was like, oh, okay, like, just to test to see, you know, if I'm going to stay in your top or if I'm even on your, you know, if I'm even on your list. And then he was like, what? Like, what you say? He tried like he didn't hear. I said, okay, Anthony, okay. And so they made a little salad. They got the dinner together. They sat down to talk. It was so awkward. It was crickets, y'all. SuSu's trying to figure out, like, you know, is she even one of his connections? And he was like, oh, you know, it's, you know, you're there, and there's some other ladies that may be more promising. I don't know. And he's not really giving her any direct answers. I feel like he's trying to not let her down, not be mean to her, but he don't like her. Anthony not checking for SuSu. Anywho, she was like, you know, she's like, he need to be, you know, telling me about our connection. And so, because there's no connection, SuSu going over there with Blake, where your connection lies. So anyway, then, let's see, she was like, oh, okay, you know, I'm trying to figure out what is your seduction, language, like your romance feeling, because I'm not getting that vibe from you. Like, when we were at the Hard Rock, you know, I kind of was getting that vibe, but then I didn't really get it anymore. You know, once we were dancing, that was cool, but now I'm not really feeling it. I'm not really understanding, like, what's going on. And he was like, okay, you know, I'm going to dance with you before you leave. So then he gave her that little pity dance, like me and whoever that was on Twitter discussed, and that was it. And she was like, you know, at first, the beginning of the day was cool. The middle was rough. At the end of the dance, you know, they might put him back up there. Like, girl, a dance? A dance solidifies it for you, Sue-Ann? Girl, bye. Oh, another thing that irritated me about Sue-Ann, before I leave this topic, she was like, oh, I never had a first date at a boy's house before. And maybe she was joking the way that kind of cheeky kind of talk. I don't know. She just gives like little kid vibes sometimes. I don't know. Something about SuSu I ain't feeling. Come on, Advocate Sue. Anyway. Let's see. Then we had a date with Jefri and Mark Anthony, I believe, was next. Mouth is dry, y'all. So they go down to the date, and Mark Anthony is just getting to know Jefri more, and she's saying that, you know, she is really liking him, but she's scared to like share certain information because she doesn't want it used against her. And he's like, oh, you could tell me, you know, whatever. And so basically Jefri shares with him that she has Crohn's disease. And I do know a little bit about Crohn's disease. It's like an intestinal issue. And she said basically her stomach will be inflamed and it causes fatigue and abdomen pain. And so he, in his confessionals, he was like, he was shocked because he didn't know what Crohn's disease was. I said, at least he was honest. He asked, how did that affect, you know, the kids and everything, and you know that she said it sucks, so she hates for them to see her like that, and she did tear up, and they tell her, mommy, like, feel better, be strong and all that, and she was like, you know, you said when you first met me, you saw me always having a happy, you know, face, smiling face, and the reason why is because I try to stay so positive. I guess Mark Anthony was like, you're always so positive, you have, you know, like nothing's wrong. And she was like, this is the reason why, you know, I try to keep a smile on my face and be positive. And he's like, oh, so like stress and stuff can, you know, really cause it to act up. Well, I'm like, well, Jefri, you was causing it to act up yourself the way you was pressing Blake about what, you know, what was all going on. So anyway, they shared that moment, and then they kissed, and I'm like, oh, Mark Anthony kissing everybody this episode, okay. And so she's like, oh, I could really, you know, she's like feeling like she could fall for him and all this stuff. They shared their little moment, and that was cute. No, I don't really see it for them, but we gonna see. Jefri says she's having a hard time choosing between Blue, Mark Anthony, and Andrea, because I guess she likes them all for different reasons. She can't choose one. I don't see it for Blue. That's looking like a sugar daddy uncle situation. Andre maybe would play stepdaddy better than Mark Anthony. I'll say that. Anywho, then we see a date between Mercedes and not Mercedes, I'm sorry. What's the girl? Morgan. Morgan and Tony go on a date, which I'm tired of their dates because they've been on how many dates? So Morgan and Tony go on a date. I like that little yellow dress Morgan was wearing though. And so, you know, Morgan again is like telling Tony, like, you know, I like you, but at the same time, I'm scared of you, you know, type of guy you are. She's like, you giving, you know, Tony from up top, pretty Tony from up top still, like, you the way you be mixing and mingling. And she's like, you're like, you know, you're like a child, you know, you need to focus on me, like, you out here doing too much. And he was like, okay. And she brought up Lyndon and how, you know, she was like, Lyndon, you know, he don't care, he's the only one that's got scared of you. He said he hear Tony talking all that yang over there, but he don't care. Come here, girl. She keeps trying to throw Lyndon in his face, which is like so tired now. When Tony in his confessional said that, like, you know, Lyndon has no chance, like she could keep bringing up Lyndon, but he ain't got a chance. He feels sorry for the brother. He said in they deliberations, right? So then Tony was like, well, you wanted to know about my other connections, right? And she's like, I really don't care. And I don't know if it was that scene or the earlier scene where she was saying, I told you to, like, you know, cut the list down, you know, narrowed it down. I told you to clean it up and all this stuff. And he was like, I think he still in that moment was letting her know that he still likes her and Marcia or something. I don't know. But she's basically getting on him about, you know, you need to, you know, quit playing around. I get what she's saying, but girl, don't even fool with him. He not gonna do it. Basically, she feels like he could be being a player, like he's just being nice to everybody, and he is. Look how he doing with Johnny. He is. But they ended up kissing in that scene, I believe, as well. So Morgan, just be careful, girl. Be careful. But I'm just kind of tired of seeing them do the same song and dance. Like, what y'all gonna do now? Then we see a date between Mark Anthony and Mercedes. Now, this date I really did enjoy, y'all, because I actually see I could see something working between Mercedes and Mark Anthony. They have a lot in common. That just vibes. I love Mercedes' whole vibe, her whole look. She be wearing her natural hair sometimes. Like, I like Mercedes. So anyway, I like Morgan too. Morgan is my girl too. So let's see. They were talking about the whole pilot thing, and Mark Anthony just kind of randomly got into pursuing his pilot's license. He asked a pilot one time on a flight, and they just told him, look it up, take some classes. So he really got into it, and he really wants to do it, even if he doesn't make a career out of it. He really wants to do it. And Mercedes is actually kind of working on the same thing, so they have that connection, in common. And she's over there fooling all on his arms and his legs, and he's like, "Oh, you keep rubbing this 3 times, something else gonna pop out, not a genie." And they laughing. She's like, "Oh, you need to drink your drink." And he was like, talking kind of a little nasty and slick to her and stuff. And she's like, "Okay, what do you like about me?" And he likes her smile and her personality and how bubbly she is and all that good stuff. And Mark Anthony seems to really like Mercedes. Now, I still get a player vibe from Mark Anthony as well. Do y'all get that vibe? Let me know in the comments. I do feel like Mercedes makes more sense. Like, don't waste Jefri's time. She got 3 kids. Or 2 kids. However many kids she got. Don't waste her time. And somebody, I think it was a random guy's podcast or whatever review it was. I think it was Random Guy Podcast. They were talking about Jefri, and I think Morgan reminding them a thin line between love and hate. Jefri definitely gives Brandy from Thin Line Between Love and Hate. She gives that all the way. She's giving Lyndon Whitfield tease, y'all. Let's see. Then I think that was all the one-on-one dates, I believe. Hopefully I didn't miss any. Then we got down to this Blake and Morgan situation, which was the best scene of the season so far. One of, to me, top 5 or 10 ready to love scenes of all time for me. I'll say top 5, okay? So Blake wanted to clear up the issues with Morgan, right? So it looked like they went down to like a library or a bookstore, something, Barnes and Noble, something, right? So anyway, let me take a sip of water before I go any further, because this part was good. So they sit down, had 8 frappuccinos and whatnot. So Blake was like, "Yeah, I basically, brought you, first Morgan was bringing up the whole dinner thing and how it went. And Blake said that's not really his thing. When he like to go out, he just want to vibe, have a good time. He ain't about all the drama." She said, "Oh, okay, so that's how you are. Okay." So then she was like, I want to talk to you about, how you addressed me at the mixer, and I didn't like the comments that you made. And so Blake was like, "Oh yeah, that's why I apologized to you, but I wanted to talk to you about it because I didn't really know what, really offended you or what was the issue." And so she was like, "Well, how are you going to apologize about something if you don't know what the issue was?" And so he was like, "Well, I can see it hurt you. I can see, you were upset. So that's why I wanted to apologize." And she's like, "Oh, wait a minute. First of all, I wasn't upset. I wasn't hurt." She was like, "You made me mad, but I wasn't hurt." She was like, "I had to clear that up real quick. Like, I wasn't losing sleep or that's, sad about her or nothing. You don't have that much," she sent her a confessional, y'all. She's like, "You don't have that kind of power over me to make me lose sleep at night about what you said." I said, "I know that's right, Morgan. Although you up here in his face, though, girl." So anyway, but she just had to get this off her chest because she don't understand why Blake is still there. And I feel like she is speaking for us. Why is Blake still there? So Morgan was going off on Blake basically, and she was like, "No, that, I just didn't like what you said. You tried to say that I was going to do anything and everything to have kids, that I wasn't going to be happy until I have kids, that I wasn't going to be able to accomplish everything I want to accomplish in life until I have kids. And that is not true. I feel like you try to back me into a corner, and I am the happiest I've been in life right now. So how could you say that? And he's like, well, I already have kids, and I feel like that would be the same sentiment of most people who have kids. Like, that's how they would feel. And so she's basically like, you know, how dare you? Like, how could you say that? And then she brought up the whole Jefri situation. And so he was like, she was like, the same thing, like with the Jefri thing. And so he was like, well, that, you know, I didn't really want to get into that, but I had to because I had to defend myself. And before, you know, things become a cancer in the group. And so she was like, well, for me, that's how I feel about you. You are the cancer of the group, and it's not benign. You're a malignant cancer. You are a fake. You are a fraud. There are beautiful ladies here. They do not deserve that. They do not deserve to have someone like you here. You do not deserve to be here. I was like, girl, tell him he ain't ready to love so he can leave, but she couldn't do that, right? And so she was just going off on him, and then he was like, okay, are you done? You got that all out? You finished? And she was like, mm-hmm. And then he was like, you know what? We don't even got to do this. You know, we don't have a connection. You know, it's all good. We didn't even need to go through all this. You know, we don't even have to do none of this, basically. And so she was like, well, okay, well, that's fine. Thank you for this time. I did not enjoy. She sipped her cappuccino. She said, I'm leaving. I didn't enjoy this. They wished each other good luck. And that was the end of the episode, y'all. Perfect ending. Okay. She gave Blake all the smoke he deserved. Kudos to you, Morgan, for giving it to him, girl. But don't be dumb about Tony, Morgan. Don't be dumb when it comes to Tony, girl. And Lyndon ain't it either. Morgan's man is not on the show, first of all. Morgan, girl, your man is not on the show. But it's all good. I will say this episode of Ready Love was entertaining. I wish I wasn't so tired, but hopefully y'all enjoyed the review anyway. We'll be back tomorrow night, hopefully with Love and Marriage DC, y'all. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I will talk to y'all soon. Bye.